Hello, hello, hello. So I am joined today with my really good buddy, Sharon Griffin. Some of you will know. Some of you might not know Sharon because we've had lots and lots of new people following us over the last few months. So big welcome. But lots of you will know Sharon because there's a running joke that I can't do a live session without dropping Sharon's name into conversation. I know it's a real problem.
I'm real though.
She's real. There's also another running joke that Sharon is my imaginary friend. There, she's here. She's real.
I am.
So massive hello to everybody. So I've brought Sharon in today. We're going to be meeting up and doing a session every month, which is really exciting. But Sharon has got a massive show coming up in February. So I thought it would be amazing to talk about the show, talk about how it came to being and what's been going on behind the scenes as you've been preparing for this, because it's been a major milestone, but also probably the longest running prep because of COVID. Thank you. So first of all, though, just tell us who you are, because what kind of art you make, and then we'll backtrack on how you came to get into collect.
Da, da. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everybody. I am Sharon. I am real, and I'm a figurative sculptor. So I'm a sculptor predominantly using clay, and I make figures and using the human experience to vent my emotions into. So it's all about the clay for me and the physical hands-on expression. So thank you for everybody for coming in and for having me on here. It's really great. It's been a while.
It has, hasn't it? It's been a few weeks. So I remember Sharon saying to me, well, actually years and years ago, before even having an inkling of a show, I remember when we were doing our Good, Better, Best. And Sharon was like, I want to be, somewhere major, like the Sculpture Park in Leeds, somewhere like that, somewhere where I'm, it's like that high profile thing. So that was Sharon projecting the best.
Yeah.
And whether Sharon knows it or not, Sharon's always been very good at doing the be, do, have. So if you did the Best Year Yet workshops, really thinking, if that's where I want to go, who do I need to be right now? And you've always been really good at this, at looking ahead at what other artists are doing who are in the sculpture show, for example, and going, right, who do I need to be and what do I need to have? And I remember you getting your bio ready and getting your website really professional, because if you wanted to be at that standard, that's what you needed. And then from there, you've worked really hard, haven't you, at putting all of that together, and then networking and connecting with people. And then an amazing opportunity happened, which I love this, because I always say it's not always about the destination. It's about going towards the destination and then opportunities arising, which you could never have planned for.
And it's then, like a door that opens and you just go through the door.
And a door opened for you, didn't it? So tell us, because I remember Sharon coming, you're never going to guess what's happened. And I'm like, what? Now, this was years ago. This was, gosh, was it
2020?
Was it 2020?
Yeah.
When you first had the opportunity, or
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I know. So I've been working on a project for 2 years. Usually I work on a project for 2 weeks, so it's a real big thing for me. I'm known as that Duracell bunny that just doesn't stop. Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
So this is quite a big thing for me, and I've learned a lot on the way. So let's backtrack. I know that you say the words best, better.
Yeah. But you
those words.
You don't have to use those.
I'm not good at words.
No, you just do it.
I'm not good at words, and I think what you do is you put the words into place, so it means that everybody knows what we do.
Yeah,
and that's great. So my background is in teaching. I've always been a teacher, but I've always been a maker as well. So I make clay. I make figurative clay things. Trained as a potter. So in '97 I finished my degree. Blah blah blah. And then moving forward, 6 years ago I gave up teaching, and I wanted to have that opportunity to make again. It's my turn. I wasn't going to have any more children, and it's about time that I put into practice what I was preaching for that time. And it was it was something that I'd known how to do, but not put into practice really, really well. So I've had some good shows, you know, in the past, and over the past 6 years, I've just been practicing. I say just been practicing. I mean really full on working hard. That's what I mean. It's not just practicing. It's
No.
putting the
making a
time
full-time
in.
living. Yeah.
Get in. You know, I was up at 2 o'clock this morning writing another bio, another element of my statement, another element or another avenue of my thought process, my methodologies, my making processes, so that I can learn how to communicate it better, you know, with my words rather than my imagination, which is always there. So 2 years ago, we had the this kind of bug that's going around. I don't know whether you've heard it or not, but there's something that's, you know, it's affected us globally, apparently, and that made us in the UK in March 2020. In the UK, we had a lockdown, so everything shut, everything stopped, and the world stopped, and everybody stopped, regardless of who you are, where you're from, your background, your status, your ethnicity. Everybody stopped.
Did you have the opportunity for Collect before COVID?
No.
It came after. Oh yes, of course it did.
Yeah.
I remember us sitting in Sharon's studio the night before we went into lockdown.
Oh God, yes.
We had that was like our last supper together. We
It
like
was, wasn't it?
literally sat together with a drink, going, "What is going on in the world?" We just got the news, and we were like, "Oh my gosh!" And it was really shocking, wasn't it? Like
It's
we
crazy how
sat,
things
but
are
we
so normal. We normalize it now, don't we?
Yeah.
It's normal to us, but then it's, when you think about it, it was so alien. It was so unbelievably alien.
Yeah.
Can I tell the story?
Mm.
There's this. So my partner Michael Mooney, who's amazing, and my daughter Edith and my smelly dog Pepper were at the park. Went to the park just to walk the dogs. We had 1 hour of outside. So we went outside, and we saw this young lad of about 10 years old, and he was slamming this shopping trolley, this shopping trolley against the bars, resonating this sound, really enjoying that pent-up frustration. The swings had been removed because obviously children weren't allowed to play.
Yes, in the UK here, they shut all the parks down, didn't they?
Yeah.
And even took stuff off the swings to stop kids going on them. So this kid was obviously really angry about that. Yeah,
that's another story, isn't it? So the witness that I witnessed this this emotion that was coming out of this child. He was very angry, very frustrated. I don't know why. I don't know him. I've not seen him again since. His dad came around the corner. We didn't know it was dad. Screeching in his car. He was so angry as well. He left his car door open, stormed down the path to this boy, tore a strip off him, like really in his face. And we witnessed violence, you know, absolute, blatantly obvious violence in the street. And I thought, what are they doing at home? If they're doing that outside, what are they doing inside? And then, you know, that really got me thinking about how I use clay as a way to communicate my emotions, my feelings, and how my daughter uses toys, you know, jumping up and down, bouncing on the sofas, whatever she does, you know, to create, you know, to get rid of some, you know, pent up frustration or freedom. So then I wrote about freedom, and I thought about constraints and freedoms, and some people really liked being in lockdown. It was like, oh, this is great. Oh, I don't have to see anybody.
I was.
So, you know, it's not all about that. But
No.
I'm always very fascinated how people's minds work. I'm really into psychology, and I really love the way we use different expressions or methods of expression to make us feel good or bad, or what makes us feel sad. And that. So that's where my inspiration comes from. And then I thought, oh, what about my own frustration? You know, I'm quite a controlling person. And how would I not control my own work? What would I do? So then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if we'd have a collaboration with somebody? I've not done that before. That sounds good. So I approached Wayne Chisnell, my arty buddy, who also lives in the same area. he's really well connected. Really, he's been an artist for 20 odd years, and really established maker. And he's got this way of using materials a similar way that I do, really intuitively. And he has a passion for the woodlands. So when I want to go and escape my family, I go up the woods, and so does Wayne. So I thought that'd be great. I'll ask him if he'd like to do a collaboration. And then there was this project, this opportunity, which is called Collect Open. And Collect is run by the Arts Council, not the Arts Council, Crafts Council UK. And I thought, well, maybe this project would be relevant because it's relevant now. It's of the time. It's makers. It's a makers fair. Maybe I'll just write, a bid, not bid, but write an application form to get into Collect, and we were accepted. So I was like, what? Now I've got to do the work.
Yeah. I just want to backtrack a little bit as well, because during that time, you were, whether you knew it or not, going through the 7 Keys. Because I remember you and Wayne having a meeting with someone. I was asleep on your sofa, kind of half listening.
An Australian guy.
Yeah, and you were talking about the 7 Keys course is a course that I teach where we go through 7 principles of getting something out into the world, and so Sharon and Wayne did a lot of work on the why, which is the why came from the catalyst. Really was that boy in the park.
Yeah,
really
I call him the shopping trolley boy now.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Which amazing! Wouldn't it be amazing if they could find out that you're going to do a whole show and it was sparked off by them? Yeah. And so they did a lot of work then on the why this matters, why it matters to them, why it matters to other people, what the work actually is, why this is important right now. And you did a lot of work in pulling that out, which then led you to being accepted. And I just think it goes back to, pulling out those parts of yourself and what you're doing. And I do remember at that point, Sharon and Wayne also putting themselves out there in lots of different ways, speaking to lots of different people, saying, we've got this project, we feel really passionate about it. And you were talking to councils, you were talking to anyone that would listen, basically. And one thing that I really noticed during this time as well is that when you do a collaboration, there seemed to be a lot more energy to push yourselves out there. I think when it's yourself, it's sometimes harder because it's all about you. We were talking about this. And then I think when there's 2 of you,
it's hard. I find it very, very difficult to work with Wayne.
Yeah,
I can't stand the work sometimes.
Sense, yeah,
I love him. He's amazing. He's such a gentle and such a knowledgeable artist.
Yeah,
and really well connected and very generous and very thoughtful. Whereas I'm not. I am like, we've got to do it. We've got to do this, and always trying to control the thing. So that element that doesn't work for me. I really struggle, which means
the whole project. But it's the whole project.
Point.
I know. The irony is that's why you're doing it, because of this constraint, and he's constraining you without meaning to. It's really bizarre, isn't it? But going back though to, I think though, when it's power in numbers, because this is the beauty of collaboration though, aside from the making bit, is coming together and both of you putting yourself out there and it being about the work, not about you anymore. And I think that's really powerful, because then you do push it out there and you go, we really feel passionate about this and we want it to be seen. And if you could all do that for your own artwork, well, you'd all fly. But it's hard, isn't it, to say, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing. But when it's a collective, it's sometimes easier. I plant that seed in case that helps you for first of all, but then also coming together with combined contacts, combined strength. So you're good at some parts, Wayne's good at others, is also helpful. So I know it's been challenging in the making bit, but that's good for you. It shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be easy.
I guess it's been challenging for Wayne too. It's not just, it's the way that I work is completely different to the way that Wayne works. And I'm not collaborated before. Wayne has. So it's a real new experience for me. Yeah. It's really very, very exciting. Yeah. So it's the project. So the project that we're working on, it's not one sculpture that we are working on together. So it's a process-led activity that we're doing. So it started with me making a figure and then given it to Wayne to do something with. So he has total control over what my work is about, which is releasing my voice completely to another person that I didn't really know that well at the time, which is quite exciting but also nervous. And I, in my imagination, in my painting the picture of what the work is going to be about, it was completely different to when I got it back. So he would work on that sculpture and then it would come back completely different to what I thought it would be. And that process now, 2 years later, is just literally led me to think about a different aspect of my making practice. So I'm a figurative sculptor. So I really love bodies. I love the figure. I love the face. I love the emotive content of that. And I'm really inspired by artists who have that emotive content in their work. But the project that I'm working on with Wayne, which is called the Unlockdown Project, by the way, if you'd like to go and have a look at it, has really made me think about how I can free up if I want to. So that literally last week, the week before, the past few months really, I've been really struggling with this one timber framed construct that has been on my workbench for about 12 months actually. And I've thrown vessels, I've made orbs, I've put shapes in there, I've made little figures, I've done everything.
So this is Wayne's creation for your waiting for your response.
Yeah. And literally last week I finished something and something just clicked. Everything just went, oh, I don't have to constrain myself into categorizing myself as a figurative sculptor. I can use the body as a starting point and then explore and play. And I found my play zone again. So, we talk about the Make Your Mark course and it's the design cycle. So we have the play time and then we experiment and explore and develop and then produce final outcome. And then that leads into the play part again. Well, I found my play again and I finished it and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant piece of artwork.
So I popped into Sharon's. So look, there's so much we want to talk about. We can't get our words out fast enough. So I just want to go back a little bit on timelines because I see Sandra says how long until the exhibition starts. So let's just backtrack. When you first got the application submitted and then you got the yes from Collect. So it was to do this collaborative project about Unlockdown. When was that? How long ago was that?
So it was in March 2020.
March 2020.
We decided that we'd like to collaborate. It wasn't because of Collect that we wanted to collaborate. It was a collaboration in itself. We were going to make the work whether we were going to get into Collect or not.
It was just another outlet.
It was just another. It was somewhere. It was a platform to be able to have a bigger audience, a wider audience that we can talk about the importance of the project, which has affected everybody. And the point of the project is to raise aspirations of the people where we live in our demographic, in our area, for our communities and our children and our, the people who live in the area. Because we don't have a gallery, and we don't have that. It's a very industrial place. We don't have, but there's a lot of creativity going on, but it's just not being seen. So I'm quite excited about being visual now, being visible, and I'm ready to start saying, look at what we can do here. So it's a really creative place.
So March 2020, you got the opportunity and then you started to work together on this, but it's not one piece, it's a few pieces exploring, and then you were supposed to be exhibiting in February 2021 at Collect, and then that got cancelled because of COVID. So you'd got work ready or near enough ready to be exhibited in February last year.
We'd kind of finished
you finished it, and then that was cancelled. So then you just continued to just keep sharing this work and pushing it forwards even more. So creating more work. And then that's when you've been left with this massive kind of wooden structure.
Yeah, we want to exhibit 4. So we're not going to show everything. We're going to select and reject. Just like we do usually. And so we've selected a few pieces that we'd like to show, which best shows what the journey is. So the start and then the middle bit, and then so it's all about freedoms, constraints, and then growth. And that is going to be the platform to then continue. So we'd like to tour it. Actually, we don't really want to sell it. but it's a selling bear, so we have to sell it.
Yeah. I find this interesting though, because you kind of finished it ready to exhibit last year,
Yeah.
but now you've moved it on. So you could exhibit what you'd finished, but
Yeah.
it's moved, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's developed.
And this
Everything changes.
this shows as an artist, you know, you could easily have just submitted that work that you'd already done ready, but you've moved along in the project together, which is really interesting. But then it's gone to this awkward stage, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So when I went into Sharon's studio, was it last week?
It was 2 weeks ago.
I could feel the tension
Oh,
of Sharon,
Mm.
and it was stressful. And it was interesting that you just said that you went back to play, because it was like you were focusing so much on the end result, weren't you? And we could see it. And it was funny because it wasn't funny, but Sharon said, I could feel the energy off you. It was
you were
like,
you were right,
ooh.
Sharon. I'm like,
no, and we could
yes.
see it. And I could even see tears in your eyes. I could see like, no, I'm not having a good day. And 2 of your sculptures had fallen off. And it's funny though, isn't it? When you're in that energy, how things just start going wrong, and everything just gets like twisted. And then you just stepped back and started to play again.
2 weeks ago.
Which is so exciting.
Because I'm always on a timer.
Yeah.
I'm always I'm always watching the clock, because you know I've got other things going on in my life. I've got dependents, you know, and time constraints with school runs and things. So I'm always on a timer. So I had basically 2 full days of making, and in those 2 full days, it feels like everybody wanted a piece of me, and I can't say no. So what I should have said is, no, I am not here. And then it just made me focus on the work. But when I was focusing on the work, it wasn't the work that I was focusing on. I didn't know at the time. But it was what people are going to think of the work, what people are going to think
That's
of
what
me.
You started to get in your head.
What people are going to think, am I good enough? The negativity started to come in. And then 2 sculptures fell on the floor because I was trying to rush it. The work I wasn't in that flow. The flow wasn't there. And then as soon as you came in, you were like, what you need to do is this. And you said to me, actually, this is really good. This is a good, you said a sentence in a nutshell. You just summed up exactly what I was feeling. And I thought, oh yeah, I am. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, so then the next week, like, I just need to play. So I did. I just let it go. So to be able to get into that flow, I learned to let it go. Oh, look, there you go. Have that one.
Write that down quick.
To get in the flow, let it go. There we go. That's it. It's true.
So, and then it sounds so simple, but it is. It is, isn't it? It's when you're getting so transfixed on an outcome, or then just starting to put so much pressure, and you were putting so much pressure on yourself. Yeah, but we all do it.
Yeah,
we all do it.
I'm worried about what other people thought of me, what they were going to think of me. I was trying to second guess everything, so that I felt comfortable and safe in my work, so that I can talk properly. You know, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. It's not just the work. It's the plinths that need to be made, and they need to be made specifically. Perfect. There's the money aspect. So far it's cost me about $6,000 to do a show, and that's I haven't even got the show yet, and that was it's a lot of money, if you don't, especially this time of year. So there's a
we've got you. You can do this. We're so proud of you.
Well, I'm happy that I'm happy with the work, which is good. It's like
because I think when you've got the cost implications and the work isn't going well, and you're like, I can't do this. So anyway, then the week after, Sharon walked through the door and she was like, yes, the work is amazing. I love it. Just needed to play. So honestly, play. Because it's when you overthinking things, overworking things, that you start to make those mistakes, isn't it? So Sandra was asking earlier about how long it is before the show is. It's the 24th to the 27th of February in London. And so where are you up to right now? Have you finished all the work? Is it all done?
The work.
Yay! What a milestone.
Finished the work. Actually, I've got just a couple of little things to do, just little tiny things.
And have you selected now? So
we've selected.
So how many pieces did you end up with then? How many pieces did you end up with?
We've got about
from the last 2 years.
I think we've got about 10.
10 pieces.
Yeah, but we're selecting 4.
Yeah.
And we're sharing a room with another artist called Laura Quinn, who is a glass artist, and she's fantastic. And so we've got the layout of the room. We've worked with her so that our room looks good together as you know, the three of us in there. We've measured out the room. We've got the plinths that, you know, we decided that we don't want it to be, you know, one lot of work and then another lot of work. We want it to flow really well in the room. We've even done like a little map of, you know, this is where people are going to walk or can walk around. Does this work for everybody? The journey that, you know, and what kind of heights things are at. So proper planning. We've got videos that we're going to share on the day to the people who can't go there physically. So we'll release those to our, you know, our potential customers or people who really love what we're doing. And we've got really proper VIP tickets, which is like, okay, with a little card and a little, you know, you get some champagne with it and everything. It's very exciting.
It's really exciting. So for those who don't know, and maybe you're outside the UK, Collect UK is one of like the biggest shows in the UK that happens every year. So it's massive, and there's so many people that exhibit there. It's a big thing in London, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the most prestigious makers fair in Europe.
Wow.
So it's real. It's a proper international. It's not just London Gallery. So
it's international.
It's not London galleries. It's majority of the work that's going to be exhibited is from gallery representation. So people like Ruthin Craft Centre, who is a real major international platform for makers to show their work. They're taking a selection of people pieces to the Collect. And then there's a small element which is called the Collect Open, which was what Wayne and I are going to take part in. And that's a selected like opportunity for people who are makers, but they want to try something new, but they just need to have a bit of time to just, you know, really play with it, explore a different avenue of their making. You know, their methods of making, which is quite exciting. It's really exciting. I'm so excited.
It's good to have the work. It's good to have the work done, because I think if it was me,
going to photograph this afternoon by Kenza Creatives. I'm name dropping. Thank you.
If it was me, I think I'd still be working on the work the night before. Every show I've ever had, like the night before, I'm still dabbling with stuff. So it must be so nice to just know that the work's actually done. So then you can work on all these bits now, like inviting people, talking about it. Tell us more about behind the scenes of what you've been doing then to get ready for this, because you've been filming, you kind of had to do like a bio and a bit of an artist statement as well, haven't you, which is describing the why and the what. And so tell us some of the bits that you've had to do to get ready for this then.
So generally I'm used to getting the work ready at least a month before. So everything is finished, everything is, you know, you've got a stock sheet, you've got your pricing, you've selected, you've got the work finished at least 2 months before a show happens. So that's generally what I like to do, and what actually happens, you know, if you've got, you know, a gallery representation, or you've got a solo show, or you've got a big event that needs to go to the press, and it needs to have all the photographs, you know, finished. You've got your video editing, your stories, your you know, your biographies, what is the work about, you know, all of those statements, and the plan in place at least 2 years before a show starts, really. So I get booked now for a show 2 years in advance. So I've got those 2 years to really think about a body of work that then can go in a solo show. So the work actually gets finished a couple of months beforehand, you know, at least a couple of months beforehand, before the show starts. So this work is like, it's really making me a little bit, I've only literally just finished, and it's only 2 weeks, you know, and it still hasn't been photographed. So in the run up, I guess this is the timeline. Should we do a timeline of what happens?
I want to ask as well, because there's some people sitting here probably thinking, you got work already, why don't you just put that in there?
That's not,
and talk to us about that though, because I want to pull that bit out of you. Like, how it, you know, you'd moved on.
Yeah.
Even it just shows that, like, in the space of a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what I'm getting
Yeah.
at? I find it fascinating.
I think initially,
It's like you changed the goalpost, or the objective changed, didn't it, as you were making it?
you know,
Do you
I mean,
think?
the whole point of the project is about growth and about freedoms and constraints. So initially in the March 2020, we were constrained and
Yeah.
everything was tight. So
Yeah.
we used a press mold of a previously constructed figure of a bust that to access really quick.
Yeah.
So we made a few of those. And dug up lots of things from the woodlands, and went foraging, and then put those oxides and clay bits into the surfaces of the clay construct of the figure, and then it got passed backwards and forwards. And then I had some shows as well, because I've got my own work to do. It's not just about the on lockdown work. So that kind of took it, So I don't know. It's like a dance.
Yeah.
It's like a movement of a shift in, you
It's-
have to pick up one thing.
The conversation
And then-
evolved, didn't it?
Yeah. And the more I got to know Wayne, maybe the more I understood
Yeah.
his making.
Yeah.
And then once we got all the work ready, I just thought, I think we could do it better. I think there's more that we could do. And I want to push myself further in this. This whole opportunity is a platform that's going to be seen, worldwide. From a lot of people that I want to tell the world about. This is about freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, well, I can do better. I think there's more in me that I can do. So I've made the biggest figure to date using the oxides that I found in the woodlands. So the really locally sourced materials, which it's not. I'm not an artist that is. I don't use reclaimed, recycled, environmentally friendly materials, but I'm aware of it. So if I can, I will be aware of not taking too much from the earth, that we live in, because our planet is important to us. But this big figure is probably it's the best figure I've ever made to date. Because it tells the story of what I want. It's not necessarily it's the best figure I've ever made, but it tells the story that I want it.
Feel connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the work that I've done.
I love that. It's so, you've explained it beautifully. So it's like there was a starting point for you both working together. You got the work ready, but then since then, the environment, the project continued, it's evolved, the conversation has evolved, and it's now rebirthed into something else, which is lovely, isn't it?
And I've got to say,
and there's been this push-pull struggle has been real, but showing again, because I've been fascinated with this recently, which is why I'm doing this mountain thing, because things aren't easy. Things don't always just flow. There is a resistance sometimes, and it's learning to work through that. And that's what you've both learned to do, is to work through that. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Sometimes people will go, oh, this isn't working out. We're not working together. Let's just stop. But you worked through it and through those challenges, which I think contributes to the art. It's the whole point.
I want to question, I want to question it completely all the time. I do say to him, look, you can do whatever you want with this sculpture. You can hit it with a hammer if you want. And he's like, well, that'd be quite cathartic, but not really. Or maybe that would,
I can't imagine smashing one of your sculptures with a hammer, but
why
yes,
not?
Exactly.
If you why not? How far can we push it? How far can we really go outside of my own constraints that I give myself? Oh, it must have a foot in it. It must be really accurate, because then people will know that I'm good.
It's
why? Why am I so? This is a question for myself, really. It's a really really learning journey.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. There's a question here from TJ saying, what do you mean by makers? What does this mean definition wise?
Okay, a maker's fair, or when we say makers, it's anything that is glass, ceramics, timber, wood, anything that is made by the hand. And generally, a maker's fair is not but it isn't exclusive to painting, photography, or fine art. So Wayne and I are both fine artists, but we're both makers, and so we're like the crossover between the fine art world, which is painters and sculpture, and also makers. But also we fit into the pottery, ceramics, glass, sculpture world as well. So we're kind of a crossover between the fine art approach. Well, we have a fine art approach to the process of making.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of like a traditional view, isn't it? There is specific maker fairs and groups of makers, but it does stretch out nowadays though to anyone that just makes. But yeah, let me see. There's some questions. Somebody said, and I can't remember who it was now, that Sharon's voice is so soothing. Yes, I agree. I always tell her this.
I know I get that quite a lot, but I don't hear it. I don't hear the.
There's a question here.
Really nice.
Is there a point where ceramics are finished when you can't make any more changes, or can you repeatedly keep on glazing?
You can keep on glazing, but practically, this is for potters really, and more traditional techniques. If you have a cup, for instance, and you want to put another glaze on here, you have to heat it up for it to adhere to. Or you can, generally you work backwards. So if you, first of all, you make the cup out of clay and it gets fired in the kiln to biscuit temperature, which is 1,000 or so degrees. And then it comes back and then you glaze it, which gives you the translucent quality of it if you want to. This is how this has been made. And then you put the luster on the top, which is the colour, this goldy kind of colour. That's how this is made. But if you wanted to put another glaze on it, it wouldn't work. You'd have to do it. There is a process. But then, if you're a fine artist, you can then smash the cup and then you can Kinzuki it, and then you can maybe put some image transfers on there or draw onto it maybe with some pencils and spray paint it and then stick it in a frame and put it on a wall. There's no rules, is there really?
No. So tell us now then, the show starts on the 24th.
Yes, it does.
And it's in London at the Collect, so you can go and visit Sharon and go there if you want to. I'm going to be going down, and so I'll be doing some videos. Somebody asked where they can find videos. You've got a Instagram account, so we'll share that. I think Lottie, thank you, has been sharing those in the comments. So we'll share Sharon's Instagram because you can go and follow there. I'll do a live video from the event as well. And so tell us now, what's the plan? What's going on behind the scenes now between now and when it starts? What have you got to do?
Well, once I've stopped talking to you, I could go and have a lie down. I'm going to go and I'm not going to lie down. I've got to go and finish off.
You haven't got time to lie down.
I've got to mend just a couple of little points of a toe.
I love your job. I mean, isn't this the best job in the world? So Monday, my to-do list, I've got to just fix 2 toes.
Go do some talking.
Got to talk, fix 2 toes. It's the best job in the world.
Have a cup of tea. Think about life. I've got to take it to the photographers. So I've got to take it to Kenza Creatives.
So you're getting all your work professionally photographed. And then does that go then to the event organisers, or is this for your own personal?
We get them back and then we edit them if we want to. So put in the Collect logo on, get them approved by the Crafts Council so that we can then share them on our Instagram accounts, and then painting plinths this week. Waiting for Wayne to get back from London because he's in London at the moment. I've got to order some more business cards, so I've designed some business cards. I was thinking about a flyer, so maybe having like a little catalogue of the work that we're not showing, so it shows, so we're not putting everything on display. But if people want to see more of the work, we can say, have a look at the catalogue. This is what's available at the moment. We've got tote bags, we've got pens. I've bought us a couple of matching T-shirts with our logo on it. Wayne doesn't know that yet.
He's gonna love that.
We can be like, oh, we are in lockdown, buddies. I might not wear it. It's just a bit of a joke, but it's quite funny.
I think it's nice. Yeah.
And then yeah, painting plinths, and then we've booked our slot. I've got to send out some invites. I'm sending out the invites to the people, so I'm having lots and lots of conversations with people who have bought from me before, people who are fans, people who want to come and have a look at the work. So really forging those networking creation, those things.
Yeah.
So it's all of those things get run up, and then it's the fair. We're there on.
Yeah.
So we go down there on the Monday night, on the Tuesday morning. We drop off our work, but it's not just about dropping off our work. We've got a time slot of 45 minutes, so we've got to be in and out with high-vis jackets, with boots that have got the steel toe caps on. So it's proper. It's proper. The security there. Got to get rid of the van. Got to find somewhere to stay. And then we'll be like, afterwards, and then it's take it down on Monday after the event finishes.
So it's on for how many days?
It's on for 5 days,
5 days,
actually, but there's 2 private views, the VIP, which is really exciting.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it's the start. It's the start of my career.
Yeah.
It's the start of the next part of my journey as an artist, which I think I'm ready for, which is good. I wasn't ready 2 years ago.
This is the long game.
Yeah.
Like people always set their sights on something and get frustrated when it doesn't happen. But this is the journey. I know we always say it, but it is about the journey and growing. And I feel like that about the book. Like a year ago, I wasn't ready to write the book a year ago. If
you
I had
think
written
you are?
it wasn't the time.
No.
And now I feel ready. And it's right. You just got to sometimes process things and trust whatever's happening is happening at the right time and you're in the right place. And
do you think we get so involved in our work? It's so important to us, and it gets so serious, and we get so consumed by it. It stops being the creative pleasure that we really love to do. And sometimes that's it for me. And then we can't see it because we just want it go. We want to get there really fast. And we want it now. And that's what I do. I've learned from Wayne that he keeps his work for 20 years and then sells it.
This is the long game.
This is the long, and he's got work and he keeps it because it's precious to him. Whereas I make something, in a few weeks, and I'm like, oh, it's done now. That can go next.
Yeah. So Wayne,
really
who Sharon's collaborating with, is like the complete opposite. And like you say, he'll sell like one work a year for 20,000 or something.
Yeah.
And that's how he works. He's just so laid back and just goes with the flow.
But he plays.
Yeah.
He does a lot of playing. In fact, when the other week, and I was saying, right, and I'm trying to categorize him, and pin him down and sending him loads of WhatsApp messages and talking to him every day and going, right, Wayne, have you got this done? Have you got your mailing list done? Have you got that thing done? And he'll say, I'm just going to walk up the woods for a while. I might be back tomorrow. You can't do that. But he gets things done just exactly the same as me.
Yeah, in a different
way.
Yeah, but the irony though is this: your work, it's like it echoes how you are in life as well. Together, you've got this constraint, and then he's just go with the flow, and I'll do it tomorrow. I love. So Kerry's got a great question here. How do you split your time between making and fine art? How do you balance that out?
Oh, they're both the same. There's no difference between the making and the fine art. I think there is a difference between the different types or the approaches of the types of parts of my head. There's difference there. So if I'm making, I'm in the flow, I'm in my workshop, I'm making the work and I'm just letting it come, and playing with it and chucking it on the floor and fighting with it and working with it, having that conversation with the clay or the work. And then there's another element of it, which is 50% of the element is the writing about it, and it's the researching, and it's the going to that show, that exhibition that you're quite excited to have a look at. Talking to artists as well, talking to other people that I love. I'm going to go and see Claire Cernein's work in Liverpool next week.
Mm.
She's I've been a fan of her work since I can remember, and she's really fantastic artist. That I'm going to go and have a look. I'm going to go meet her probably for the first time. Hopefully, she's amazing. So yeah, that takes 50% of the time, and it's a different headspace, and it's really digging deep into the why. I think maybe that's the fine art part that you're thinking about, but the making is just as important.
Yeah, the output of what you're doing, whether it's fine art, whether it's makers, whether it's I wouldn't get too hung up on the categories of whatever it is.
No,
Because it can start to limit you and thinking that you've got to fit within a box. And
there is because I was trained as a potter and I've got my degree in ceramics. There is a particular type of world there, which is different to anything else I have ever known in the art world.
It is
completely different.
Yeah.
They are people like, I mean, they're just people like me. They are grounded. They like to work with mud. They are dirty, muddy, messy, creative, crazy people.
With camper
all
vans.
Of them.
Yeah.
With camper vans. Everybody, we go to festivals and we show our work, and that's the best part of being a maker, if you like the making part. And that's the pottery festivals, and and those are the ones that I go to in the UK, up and down the country, which is really good. And you cook together. I mean, there's this one guy, Tom Knowles, bless him. He's such a good guy. His wife made like 30 or 50 pizza dough balls, and he brought a pizza oven with him in one of the events, so that when after the event had closed for the day, we could just go and sit in the field and make pizzas together. It's that kind of person. So I love that. So I'm off on a tangent again.
That's okay. We'll just wrap up. So there's one last question coming in. Having experienced the collaboration, will you do it again, and do you recommend it as a process? That's
absolutely. I really love working on my own work, and I really like finding my own voice, and I really like researching my own things. But I think as a person, I want to make connections with other people, because that's what I like to do. That's what we are herd community, aren't we? We like to be with other people sometimes, whether it's through a screen or whether it's in a physical sense. Whether it's reading a book, reading a piece of poetry, or listening to a piece of music, we're making connections. That's art. So in order to grow and to make those connections with other people and have different experiences, that's definitely worthwhile, I think.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
We're all sending you the vibes. We're sending you the vibes. And if you want to follow Sharon's journey, there's a link that Lottie has kindly shared. So thank you for
Lottie.
that. Yes, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. And we're going to do another session after the show so that we can get a debrief of how it all went and get behind the scenes then of, what actually happened. Can you imagine? I know. So yes, thank you everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Have you got anything to share before we wrap up?
No.
That's it.
Yes. No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll check the comments later. Thank you. Bye-bye.